For over 1,000 years, Vikings built longships and stave churches that defied the elements. Rain, ice, and even the salty whip of northern seas couldn't rot their wood. What secret did the Norse hold that we've largely forgotten? The answer isn't some exotic ingredient or industrial trick. It's a simple, all-natural technique that is shockingly easy to replicate, and it still outperforms much of what's sold in hardware stores today. The Norse were masters of survival, and their wood wasn't just functional, it was sacred. They needed their longships to survive storms and their buildings to last winters that could freeze timber solid. One method they perfected involved steeping wood in natural oils, specifically pine resin and cod liver oil, creating a layer that water simply couldn't penetrate. Unlike modern treatments that often sit on the surface or leach chemicals into the environment, this Viking dip soaks deep, bonding with the wood fibres themselves. The result? Rot-resistant timber that could endure centuries, not years. Pine resin is no ordinary sticky sap. Collected straight from living trees, it contains natural antimicrobial compounds. These compounds repel fungi, bacteria and insects that usually feast on wood. Vikings combined it with heat and a carrier oil, like cod liver oil, which itself contains long-chain fatty acids. This mixture penetrated the timber, filling microscopic cracks and pores. When cooled, it solidified into an almost invisible armour, flexible enough to expand and contract with temperature changes without cracking. Modern chemical treatments rarely achieve this level of molecular intimacy with the wood, leaving gaps where moisture and rot can sneak in. What's truly fascinating is that this method wasn't reserved for their longships alone. Stave churches in Norway, some over 900 years old, still stand as monuments to Viking engineering. The trick was in preparation. Vikings would split the wood, allow it to dry partially, then dip it repeatedly in the resin oil mix, sometimes finishing by smoking it lightly over a fire. Smoking wood adds another layer of protection, hardening the outer fibres while imparting additional antifungal properties. These days, honestly, few builders even think to smoke wood, and the ones who do rarely combine it with deep oil treatment. It wasn't just about survival, it was also practical. Viking villages didn't have ready access to industrial chemical preservatives. They had to rely on what the environment offered: trees, fish, and fire. Yet their solution was so effective that the wood lasted longer than most modern timber treated with expensive synthetic coatings. Even under constant exposure to wet climates, the Vikings' method allowed wood to breathe while resisting decay, a balance many contemporary treatments fail to strike. Modern builders often rush to seal wood with varnishes or paints. These can look impressive at first, but tend to crack over time, allowing water to seep in. Once water penetrates, rot spreads unseen, and often the only solution is to replace the timber entirely. Viking treatment, in contrast, works from the inside out. The natural oils seep deep into the grain, creating a protective core rather than a fragile shell. This means even if the surface scratches or weathers, the interior wood remains defended. the environmental angle is just as compelling. Today, many chemical treatments contain arsenic, copper, or other toxic compounds. These chemicals can leach into soil and water, affecting wildlife and even human health. The Viking approach was completely organic, biodegradable, and non-toxic. Pine resin and fish oil leave no harmful residues, making it an early example of sustainable engineering. It's remarkable to think that a method developed over a millennium ago aligns perfectly with modern eco-conscious building principles. Applying this technique in a contemporary setting is surprisingly straightforward. Start with clean, dry wood. Melt pine resin gently and mix with a small amount of natural oil, maintaining a temperature that allows easy absorption but doesn't burn the wood. Submerge or brush generously, allowing the mixture to soak for several hours or even overnight. For added protection, repeat the process and consider finishing with a light smoking or torching of the surface. It's hands-on, yes, but the payoff is timbers that resist rot far longer than chemical treatments, with the bonus of a rich, warm glow only natural oils can impart. For historians and, well, DIY enthusiasts alike, this method is more than just a trick. It's really a window into the Viking mindset. They didn't just fight against nature, they actually partnered with it. They understood the materials at their disposal, using science, a bit of trial, and keen observation to create structures that, lasted for generations. And while these days modern industry often relies on quick fixes, the Vikings invested their time in longevity. Their solutions were elegant, practical, and sustainable, qualities that, honestly, any builder today would envy. So, the next time you see a rotting deck or a failing fence, just remember the answer isn't always in the chemical aisle. Sometimes, the best solutions are ancient ones, carried down from the hands of people who really had no choice but to get it right. The Viking wood dip wasn't just a recipe, it was a philosophy of respect for materials, patience, and ingenuity. If you want your wood to endure, why not let the wisdom of the Vikings guide your next project? Go ahead, dig into history, experiment, and see just how far natural treatments can go. And if you're fascinated by hidden technologies, ancient secrets, and forgotten techniques that still outperform modern inventions, make sure to subscribe and share this video. Help hidden histories grow so more people can discover the past, and maybe even build a better future, one timber at a time.